It is the tale of a K-shaped economy. Wealthy households are spending while working class Americans struggle to make ends meet. Welcome to the Big Money Show. I'm Taylor Riggs alongside my co-hosts Dagan McDowell, Brian Brenberg, Jackie DeAngelis, and with us for 1, 2, maybe hours, entrepreneur and host of The Fixer, be careful what you wish for,
right,
on Fox Business, Marcus Lemonis.
Thank you.
So it's a different vibe depending on where you sit. Wall Street says we're cruising towards 2.4% GDP growth next year, and the S&P 500 right now nearing a record. But private payrolls just shed more than 30,000 jobs, and November layoffs hit their highest level since 2022. Just this week, Macy's CEO saying Bloomingdale's, that higher end, booming, but regular shoppers are cutting back. So the question is the Great Divide sustainable? Marcus, care to jump in?
You came to me first, huh?
Let's do it.
I'm not sure I agree.
Okay.
I'm not sure
Explain.
I agree that we have a K-shaped economy. A K-shaped economy usually happens when hospitality, retail, travel, and small business are all under pressure. I'm not hearing any of that. We knew going into the holidays that retailers were going to hire less people, significantly less people. And so when we look at the jobs report, part of that dislocation in the number could be the lack of hiring. We do know that affordability is an issue, and it's an affordability issue for everybody. But what has really happened for me around spending is have tariffs caused people to see higher prices and force them to either downsize or hold. I don't believe it's just one part of the economy that's doing that.
Okay, so Jackie, he mentioned tariffs, and I wanted to sort of pick up on this because I know we talked about the University of Michigan sentiment, and take it for what it's worth. It's sentiment, it's political, watch what I do, not what I say, but I've cited it when it's bad, and so I want to cite it when the numbers are good, to be fair. It did rise for the first time in 5 months. And interestingly enough, the increase in sentiment was led by younger consumers. A 13% rise in personal financial expectations was even broader than that. The measure of outlook for finances climbed now to the highest level since February, pre-tariffs.
Okay.
Your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts on that is that people are feeling good, and maybe they're thinking about the calendar turning over, the big beautiful bills, some of the tax benefits that they might see as a result of it. We're nearing that. You know, when you're talking about that on July 4th, when the bill is signed, it's hard to sort of see it and feel it because it feels like it's far away, and now it's really not that far away. But that certainly is a sentiment shift. I'm not going to really get on the K-shaped economy issue. What is interesting to me is this Investopedia stat that 26% of Americans are living beyond their means. You know, we talk about government spending. We talk about government overspending, not being able to rein it in once it's gone too far, and how that starts to build upon itself a little bit like a snowball until it's, you know, finally gotten somewhat out of control. The Trump administration has wanted to dial that back, but then politicians on both sides of the aisle start to freak out and they say, no, 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 you can't take away some of the stuff that you've given to people. That also translates into Americans and consumers' lifestyle as well. You know, we never want to use that word austerity. We heard that in Europe when things were going haywire in Greece. Nobody wants to talk about austerity or cutting back, but whether it's Biden inflation at 9% or a slight increase that you're seeing from tariffs, we know that prices are higher. We've had to live with that for some time. So I'm surprised that people aren't adjusting. I'm surprised that people are using so much plastic when they know that credit card interest rates are something like 23% for the average consumer. I don't understand where the system has failed people in understanding that you're not entitled to having things, and that when times are tough, whether it's because of the conditions, economic conditions around you, or maybe in your personal household as a result of something that has happened, why you can't pull back.
Brian, I want you to go in on that. And Marcus, if you say you don't believe in K, do you have a letter for me? If you don't like a K-shaped economy, what would your letter be? Describe that if you can.
Let me think about it.
Okay, so Brian, the Bank of America is saying if the K is up and down, and we'll wait for another letter from Marcus, they're also saying we actually think it'll come closer together before it totally collapses. There is a little bit of hope on the horizon. Let me give you some hope. Victoria's Secret was just one that I looked at this morning, right? We saw our highest Black Friday customer turnout in 4 years. Roughly 1 million customers are shopping on our brands, up high single digits from last year. They experienced growth across all income cohorts and able to grow sales despite offering fewer discounts and raising items on select items. Now, we could argue Victoria's Secret's a one-off. That's not a broader gauge.
I'm glad that you mentioned that because it's not on my radar at all. I never pay attention to Victoria's Secret, so I come to you on that. Thank you.
But there are companies who are saying things are okay-ish.
Yeah, I don't get this K thing so much, especially on retail, because you've mentioned these companies before. You said TJ Maxx was killing it. And Walmart doing great, and these so-called low-end retailers doing really well. So, is that a higher-end consumer there? I don't know, but whoever shops there seems to be shopping a lot, right? And you mentioned the high-end, too, Bloomingdale's or whatever. So it seems like all parts of the K, it's more like a lowercase r, it just kind of goes up and to the right. That's what it's, you want a letter? W.
Amazing. Okay, we have one.
He's got a W. I say an R. So I don't get the K thing. Is the K thing like the new invention of the negative Nelly media that wants to find problems with the Trump? I think that's what it is. Also, data for you. Now, this is from September, but I think this is the latest. Household debt service payments as a percentage of disposable personal income have steadied at around 11%.
Okay.
That's the lowest we've seen. That's lower than it was just pre-pandemic.
Debt to income.
Okay, disposable income, debt disposable income. And same report showing delinquency rates also on debt stood at 2.98%, down from 3.2% last June. So yes, interest rates are high, debt is a problem, but I'm just saying that maybe people are spending right now because it's not quite as bad for them as everyone's telling us, or they feel pretty good about 2026, which according to Bank of America, they're looking at what, 2.4% next year?
But you shouldn't spend it before you have it. And when you bring up Victoria's Secret, I mean, that is niche. But if you don't have money, you shouldn't be buying lingerie, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Well, you need underwear.
Staples on bras.
Okay, underwear.
You should definitely wear underwear.
Yeah.
I'm in favor of that. I don't pay attention to Victoria's Secret, but you should wear
You
underwear.
saucy vixen, Jackie D'Angelo.
I was not suggesting that people should go
Wow,
commando.
okay.
I just am saying.
Doesn't need to have lace. That's your point.
Dagan, take us home.
The K-shaped economy, it seems like a political invention.
That's right.
Political phrase to push people towards socialist ideals that the rich are getting richer and you need to get yours, and we in politics and in the government are here to help. This is not any different than what's been going on for literally decades in this country, and I don't find anything wrong with it from this standpoint. That I don't believe in looking to the government for solutions, because when the government shows up, it's going to be in the form of more spending, and that's a bigger problem because people call it, you want to use a phrase, the era of fiscal dominance, where the government and our debt has gotten so big that it's siphoning resources away from the private economy, which slows growth and prosperity for everyone. But in terms of a true free market, the poor are not getting poorer in this sense, that we have a much higher standard of living in this country than other nations. So even in times when incomes adjusting for inflation are flat, the standard of living in this nation is still much higher than in other countries. I will choose this nation any day than the permanently lower plateau elsewhere, say over in Europe. And I will choose the middle incomes here and the middle income prosperity and way of life and opportunities in the US with a Jeff Bezos and a Mark Zuckerberg, who have a lot in this country, than living somewhere else where they try to confiscate the wealth and opportunity of billionaires and would-be billionaires. You know, there's a term for all of this inequality. They like to measure it. It's the Gini coefficient.
Yeah, right.
So 0 is perfect equality.
But you could all be poor as heck.
Right. And then 1 is perfect inequality. And we are judged as a nation as being one of inequality. So it's just basically when they start talking about the wealth differential or inequality, it means they want everybody to be kind of broke ass. And I
Together.
don't want that
Quickest
together.
way to equality. have
Marcus,
nothing.
explain
Right.
the big W.
Thank you.
Well, before I do that, there's three things. Numbers don't lie, and the numbers are telling us that it's not as bad. I think the second thing is we do have an affordability issue, and that's largely around housing and food. And 3, the Democrats and the liberal media have run a flawless game plan of convincing everybody that they should be running for the hills. And I think the numbers need to be put more front and center, less rhetoric, more facts. I think we'll dispel some.
And young people, especially, I think they want to run for the hills. Like, it's terrible for you young people. You can't do anything.
But they're the ones that are more optimistic, which is surprising.
Yeah, that surprises me.
The W really represents what the country looks like. And if you look at where commerce happens across the United States, it happens inside the W. And in the gaps in the W is where things are the toughest. That's always the case. Any retailer focuses on following the W through California, the West Coast, up through Texas, in the Midwest core, and then up the East Coast. In the gaps of those two are where things tend to get a little spicy because commerce doesn't go there.
That's
And
interesting.
we're going to talk about the K, luxury all year. We talk about all of these retailers. Luxury sales, luxury retailing is in the commode. It is done horribly. You have retailers struggling, going bankrupt. Essence in Canada, bankrupt. They tried to blame tariffs, horse manure, but the big logo is dying, and they're struggling to figure out what to do. So there is a shift going on. People might be shopping at the Walmarts and the TJ Maxxes, but they're not shopping at some of these retailers.
And those retailers during COVID, some of the prices of luxury goods literally doubled in the last 4 years. Some of that stuff that's being imported specifically from like Italy and from France, where you pick up a handbag now and your eyes pop out of your head.
I looked, sorry to digress, I looked at a watch that my parents bought me for my high school graduation. We were talking about it off air yesterday. That watch was adjusting for inflation, so it was bought in the mid-'80s. It was $1,000. Adjusting for inflation, today it would be it was a little more than $1,000. It would be $4,000.
Okay.
If I went to buy that watch, though, brand new, the retail price of it is $11,000.
That's my point.
So that's how much luxury goods inflation has been. And it's not in the materials in that watch. And I can't wait for it to come back down to earth.
Off-price luxury is really strong right now. Very
Off-
strong.
Really?
Off-price.
Off price.
Off-price.
The only
That's
other
the bargain. Bargain.
Businesses like The Real are doing phenomenal right
But
now.
that's used clothes.
They have
this
some new
is,
stuff.
This is used.
Vintage.
No, it's used. This is used.
Garage sale.
Yes, my
doing a
jeans.
fit check live on air.
My
with
jeans
Dagan
are
Michelle.
no, it's used. It's used Louis Vuitton, and this thing was a few $100s. And if you went to buy it new, it would be several thousand. It's a few hundred. My jeans are used.
I would just say quickly my final thoughts on the private sector. I love to throw out that stat out there. There's been sort of rumors going around that 80% of the employees at NVIDIA are now millionaires because they had stock when they joined the company. That's what I love. That's the private sector innovating. That is the path to wealth. When the government gets out of the way, stop telling people that we're too poor, that we can't innovate. And that is the best way. That company has minted millionaires, allegedly, purely by being the best of the best. Let's do Netflix. Netflix acquiring Warner Brothers in a massive $72 billion deal after a very intense bidding war. So you see Netflix this typically happens, actually. The acquirer falls while the target company rises. Warner Brothers Discovery up 2.5%, Netflix to the downside by 3.5%. You don't quickly weigh in. There's a
I
lot
don't-
of political opposition. You
I don't
guys
think
shout.
this deal goes through.
I don't think so either. And I'm shocked that they're moving forward with it in this way, knowing what hurdles lie ahead. I'm also interested in the fact that, and I understand that Netflix want the studio assets, but they left the cable assets off the table. So now you've got a lot of cable properties. I know you're going like this because, you know, cable is struggling, especially certain networks. But you've got all these cable
Not us, just
properties.
so we're clear.
Yeah, not
Not us,
us.
just so we're clear.
We're number one. But all these cable properties are for sale now. The question to me becomes, who goes after these struggling assets to try to turn them around, or do they just falter?
There's one note here from an analyst saying splashing out so much cash was never going to make the share price jump with delight. But if this deal can clear those significant regulatory hurdles quickly, there are likely to be considerable cost savings to be made. Synergies is the name of the game in things like this.
They'll be at the White House very shortly. Trump will tell him exactly what he wants the deal to look like to push it forward. He already said some
Suggestions.
Man,
stuff out
what?
there.
What?
Yeah.
We should debate this later.
Suggestion.
Yeah.
Later, we should debate it. Okay.
Friendly
Well over
suggestion.
time.